All right, my name is Matthew Baker, and my presentation is on the net security commandlets that are built into PowerShell. So we're just gonna go ahead and get started. First off, so the power of net security commandlets. There are multiple commandlets built in. I would probably say over 50 of them. What they allow you to do is interact with firewall rules via PowerShell. So they allow you to copy these firewall rules, disable them, allows you to find certain parameters within those firewall rules, allows you to retrieve them and view them, create them, remove, configure, and modify those rules. There truly is a lot of power built into these, and I believe that they are something that a network administrator should know. So basic, to start off, copying firewall rules. So you have the copy net firewall rule commandlet. You also see that, and it'll be ongoing with all of the different things you can do with these commandlets, that there's either firewall rules or you have IPsec, either main mode cryptography, as you can see the main mode rules, or you have phase one authorization sets and quick mode cryptological sets. So, and the net IPsec rule below. So let's just go ahead and start with the basic. So we're going to copy a net firewall rule. The display name of the firewall rule that I was going to copy is called Paint3D. It was just a firewall rule that was built into my virtual machine, and I gave it the new name of Paint3D version 2. And so we looked over earlier ways to retrieve the rules. Get net firewall rule with the name Paint3D version 2, which was the new name I just gave the rule, and we are able to see the new rule that has been copied from the Paint3D rule from before. You can also disable and enable firewall rules, which has the either disable or enable in front of those, and again you can use for main mode and IPsec. So we're going to go ahead and disable the firewall rule that we just did, and so we go ahead and do disable net firewall rule with the name of the Paint3D version 2, and I'm going to take a look at that rule, and we can see that about halfway down under enabled that it is set to false. So we have essentially disabled that rule, and on the other end of the spectrum, let's enable that rule now. So the exact same thing, but with the word enable. So enable net firewall rule and the name, so you can see that about halfway down through there it is set as true. So to retrieve rules, you've seen this done a couple times already. The get net firewall rule. You can also use it to get anything that has to do with ports, rules, settings, profiles. There are multiple things. As you can see about halfway down the screenshot there, the profile is on my VM. There are 3: domain, private, and public. So if we wanted to get the net firewall profile with the profile name of domain, it'll return all of our profiles with domain. So new rules. So we, instead of going to a GUI, we want to just go ahead and do this command line based. So we're going to do a new net firewall rule. The display name is going to be disable SSH services. Enabled, we want it to be enabled. The direction is inbound. Local port 22, protocol TCP, and block. So what that rule essentially is doing is blocking inbound SSH services via port 22. Again, you can do that with IPsec and main mode cryptographic. And you can see here that our new rule here, the name given to it, there is just a default that is given to it. If we give it no name, the display name is set as disabled SSH services. Enabled is true, it's an inbound rule, and the action is to block. So let's go ahead and start with renaming this rule. So about halfway down the screen we have the rename net firewall rule. So the display name which was given to it from here is disable SSH services, and the new name we're going to give it is disable SSH. So you see after it is completed that the disable SSH is set as the name itself. And we can also go ahead and remove that firewall rule. So we can remove it by name or display name. So we're going to remove net firewall rule. We did it by display name here of disable SSH services. You could also do it by name disable SSH. So, and you could use the rename and remove for main mode rules and IPsec rules as well. So modifying rules. We are going to go ahead and modify this. You can modify a lot of parameters in this. We could modify the direction, the action, whether or not it's enabled, the profile. So pretty much anything that you see can be modified. So we are going to set the net firewall rule for the display name of disable SSH services that we made earlier, and we're just going to go ahead and turn it off if we don't want it enabled. So that is going to be set to false. Again, you could do this with net firewall profile. You could do it with net firewall setting, IPsec rules, everything. But this is pretty much a vast overview of the net security commandlets that are built into PowerShell, and I found them very interesting, and I think that they will be very useful to a security administrator, or even for somebody that is doing a penetration test that needs to get in, and they could go ahead and modify some rules to allow for them to hide better or have access to certain things. So that is pretty much all I have. So I hope you all enjoyed it, and have a good day.